Hey everybody, today we're going to focus on the preparatory breath and kind of go through a checklist of things you want to feel for and think about on every inhale before we start to sing. So, first we're going to start with the diaphragm. And so we want to feel like that diaphragm on that inhale just drops and expands low in our body as if that diaphragm is kind of pulling that air into the depths of our lungs. Places that you can focus on for sensations, that upper stomach. So when I drop and I have that inhale come in, diaphragm's expanding, I can feel that upper stomach pop out a little bit. We can think about our ribs. A low expanding feeling in the diaphragm, in the core, in the ribs. Next, in our checklist, we want to think maybe about our jaw releasing with that diaphragm. So diaphragm drops, so does the jaw. The jaw doesn't have to muppet open. We don't need a huge forced opening of the jaw, but we want it to release, and we want it to release in a way that feels like everything is opening and letting go. All right, so jaw release, and that jaw release is going to help that tongue release. So that's next on our checklist. Our tongue should be releasing towards the opening of our mouth, so relaxing against those front bottom teeth as if you're about to drool, just really, really loose. So diaphragm, jaw, tongue, everything just lets go. Okay, and we don't want to think pushing down. We don't want that drop to feel like everything sags or presses down. We just want it to be a release, which leads us to the next thing we should think about in our checklist is maybe a sense of lift, as if on that drop of the diaphragm, release of the jaw, relax of the tongue, the dome of our skull lifts off of this mouth space a little bit. So a sense of weightlessness in that inhale that helps us think about air coming up and over our tongue, that takes the weight off of our tongue, or it takes the effort out of our tongue. We kind of have to trick our tongue into relaxing. So diaphragm drops, jaw releases, tongue relaxes forward, and we have a sense of lift above the tongue in the skull, the dome, hard palate. Okay, so next on the list would be the soft palate. So as we're thinking lift, maybe we're also adding a stretch in the back of the mouth space. So that yawn sensation, where the back of the mouth space really kind of feels like it lifts and stretches as we inhale. That's going to help keep our larynx low. So that's the next aspect of our preparatory checklist. We're going to think about how that yawn helps that larynx, our Adam's apple here, sink and stay stable. Okay, you can put your fingers on your Adam's apple as you inhale and try to find that. Okay, why don't you try that a few times? Kind of go through your checklist, maybe focus on one piece at a time, and then can you put it all together? So we have the diaphragm drop. Okay. Drop and expand in that upper belly and ribs. We have our jaw release, nice and loose. We have our tongue relaxing. We have a sense of lift above that tongue. And then we have that soft palate lift and stretch. And the larynx staying low, a sense of expansion in the airways. Okay, when you try those one at a time, you could try to combine them together in one action. So the action may be of like you just remembered something really amazing. That feeling of surprise, that inhale comes right in, we kind of release, and we have a sense of lift above. Surprise, that idea of surprise kind of helps us have a sense of lift and space in our mouth. Okay, and you can use what works for you, but something similar to that instant inhale where the air just rushes right in and the space is ready to go with a sense of energy, stretchiness, but also openness and release.